Sorry. Okay. Dude, so I actually watched a little bit more of the video that I talked about yesterday. So it's this Ria TV girl. And she, I don't watch many of her videos, but sometimes they come up on my feed and the titles are just wild. Like, I feel like I've come across women like this. I feel like maybe Jessica, the girl who I was friends with when I was younger, is kind of like this. She reminds me of this, but here, how would I describe these type of women? They are definitely the women who are like, I have the fathered women, the ones who are like, yes, I have a father. I don't know, like it's not. Those are different from women who just like. How can you say that? Like, if you have normalized non-toxic male presence in your life, then it isn't a core part of your identity. But if you're surrounded by people and experiences that reinforce that there are other people who don't have strong male figures in their life, then it becomes a core part of your identity. In the same way that if you have been listening to more experiences by women, especially black women, you'll start to hear them emphasize more that they are black and not just women, because the blackness is a core part of their identity. So if that makes sense, like, I'll try to find some more examples of women who do have present fathers, but their present father is not the core part of their identity. I saw Kai Trump posted something, so probably her. She's like a good example of that. Like, you won't hear every single thing that she says every day being like, a man told me this, my father told me. It's actually like, that is a really good indicator of a flaw. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like somebody being like, I had water today. If you listen to somebody tell you I had water today, you'd be like, I don't understand. Like, why are you saying that? Like, you have to have water to live, right? Like, you don't need somebody to tell you that you need to drink water. Whatever. Okay. But then she goes on. This woman legitimately says this, and I mean, I would classify this woman as being, this girl Ria, as being a black woman, and the woman she's responding to is also a black woman. And let's put some stuff into context before, like, we actually listen to what she's really saying. If it were the case that men, especially, I mean, I would assume like her father, both of those women's fathers would be black, right? So if that men were so good at reading people and they were able to understand logic and 1 + 1 and all these things, how could it possibly be that these men have been in this society for this long and then the community looks like it does? How? That's not possible. If all, like, she's like, because she's generalized here. She's like, oh yeah, all men are so good. They use logic. They're so good at reading people. They have they'll know you more than you know yourself. Like, she said this. Let's go back. Let's, like, listen to some of these things. Are so strange. It's like, if that were the case, wouldn't they be doing better in society with the other men? But they're not. Like, a very large percent of all the men are doing really bad. So their logic actually is not contributing to them doing well in society. That is a fact. That's why every man, Professor G, Professor B, all the other men are coming on being like, we need to help the men. The boys are struggling. Suicide. Oh no, the reproduction rate. Like, every issue is an issue for men right now. So that's just a fact. And then it's like, I do think that a significant percentage of men are spending a significant percentage of time analyzing women, but I don't think that is to their benefit. Like, if you sit all day, like I noticed this actually when I was still living in the Bay Area, like no matter what I would do, there would be a bunch of men who were like observing me, a bunch of white people who were just like observing me. This isn't helpful for your life, right? Like somebody simply like watching the shit that you do and then trying to understand it without context doesn't make sense, especially if you're in a place where you're trying to figure out some shit for yourself. So like you're trying to make decisions, you're trying to, you know, analyze things and understand, and then the community around you, especially the community of loser men, are literally watching what you do and then trying to learn from that. Oh, all the women are like this. Oh, I've seen this before. So therefore they're trying to make pattern recognition and all that shit. If you were so good at pattern recognition, sir, like hypothetical man in the world, wouldn't you be using that to go get some more money? And then like these women wouldn't be online talking about how you're so good at like pattern recognition. Don't you see a pattern here? They're not doing that. They are legitimately watching specific women that they even know exist, because I would beg to differ that I've heard this, and I think I heard it from, ironically, Pearl, but she's been making some really good points as of lately. She was saying all the people I see that are happy in society and their healthy relationships are offline. Okay, so then so where are these men, the ones who are like analyzing the women, and where are they getting their data from? It would have to be like women who are in their community with them, right? But I thought we just said like the married happy ones are not online, and they're not around these dudes who are online analyzing to you the like badness of other women. And I will just say, as a person who's like from lived experience, the way that people treat other people is more reflective of themselves than you. So like you could be the worst person in the world, like another person could be the scum of the earth. The way that you treat that person is more indicative of who you are. It says more about your character than it does about the other person. And that's like actually like biblical philosophy. I didn't make that up. So imagine, I'm not sure, because it does feel like there's like all of these like the hypocritical Christians, man. They just like wearing the cross and then thotting on OnlyFans at night. I think that's like the like the scheme, the new scam of like, we are Christian, ooh, that's the new scam, right? So it kind of feels like these women are watching that. So like how can you explain it in a way that like kind of makes some sense? And I it would almost be something on a normal day, or I don't know, I would just like brush past this, and there are other topics that might be a little bit more worthy to unpack. But this one I think is a problem, because I feel like there are so many women in the Black community who follow this like thought process, and I want you to like see it for yourself, because like I can make the point, but sometimes it's really nice when there's like a direct point of reference showing you like, no, I'm not saying this like hypothetically, here is the proof, you know what I mean? I think that is so strange. But the bigger flaw kind of in the, we can call it the system, it is this idea that if not only these women, but the men that they are getting this information from, if those men saw themselves as members of a society, just any society, I do think that those men see themselves maybe as members of their family, like their individual family units, but I mean as society, as a collective. In what world would those men go out and do, like they were describing pretty heinous acts, like a man going on a date with a woman and then pretending like he forgot his wallet. I don't know. that's not saying anything about the woman. That's legitimately just describing a homosexual man. These are a very well-known lane of men who don't have resources. And that isn't funny. That is unfortunate. I'm not like that. You're not eating like you think you're eating, because that's sad. Or what was the other? There were some other instances. Maybe I'll pull it up and see. There were like a couple other instances that she said.
Every time we went out, it was like men just naturally spoke very dirty to her.
Men are speaking dirty
about,
to.
Like, they were just very like, I'm not gonna say they're aggressive, but they were just very sexual with her.
I want to stop right here for a second, because I do want to touch on what she's saying. You see, I always say this. I always say that they say that women are the reciprocators, right? Technically, in a relationship, both people are reciprocators, okay, if we want to be technical. But a lot of times, I always say that a man is going based off of how you present yourself. If you show, nice qualities, girlfriend qualities, he makes you a girlfriend. If you show wife qualities, he makes you a wife. If you show motherly qualities, he makes you a mother. Like, people think it's the opposite. They're like, oh, women are the multipliers, and in ways we are. But I really believe that it is based off of how the woman presents herself, and that is how that basically says what kind of man you're going to get out of the man, right? Like, I don't believe that a man acts one way across the board with every woman that he deals with. I believe that based off the woman that you are will say what kind of traits you're going to extract from a certain type of man.
Okay, I think that is actually probably the basis of this conversation, and I think that this is kind of the takeaway. I actually really do think that, like, not just men, but people of character, that character multiplies across situations. That's the whole point of a value or character. You don't change who you are based on who you're interacting with. That's called schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder. It's literally a personality disorder. They are literally sitting here validating like, just be serious for a second. If you are you, and then you're like, oh man, I like this type of person, then you would be spending your time interacting with and participating in the events and around people that you like. If men did not like women who were slutty, who wore particular outfits, who engaged in certain types of work or whatever, they just wouldn't be around them. There are men in society who, like, don't go to the strip club. Not all of them, and a lot of them go. I'm just saying that there are some who don't. Then there are some who do. It's like, I don't. It's like you're expecting a fish to not be in water. Like, that man is treating whoever these women's friends are like garbage, because those men are garbage. There's not like two ways around it. It isn't that, like, on Friday this man is, like, worthy of something and is righteous and good, and then on Saturday the devil comes out. Like, that isn't the case. Don't get me wrong, I do think that, like, all people have shades of good and bad, but I also think, like, it's very fair to witness someone's character flaws and then say, yes, they have character flaws, and then that be it. But it isn't, like, what these women are describing is that, like, and it's really sad, because it actually says more about all of the type of men that they're around. I mean, it's very hard to find maybe multiple examples of, like, we'll call it high value man, but I don't even think that that's, like, really there has to be some other word. Man successful in his job or something, in the financially responsible man in the world. Like there's not like a bunch of different traits that you're looking for. If you're a woman and you're looking for that guy, like I feel like I said this in a video that was not that long ago, but all successful, wealthy people are the same, and all unsuccessful people are the same. I think I talked about this in teams, where I explained why all the winning teams are the same and why all the losing teams are the same. And I think I was talking about that in terms of China and America. As you see, like, China's a dictatorship where like literally there's a lot, like, it's a pretty homogenous society, like everybody's the same. That's why it's like working so well so quickly. The reason America is not working is because there's too many different people who don't like each other, who cannot get along, and who don't know how to play on a team. So it's just, individual wins for individual groups, individual parties or whatever, but as a whole the team loses to the team that worked as a team. And that's why tribalism is important. But yes, you don't change your morals and your like character traits based on who's watching. That's not a thing. That's a personality disorder. And I think that like it's really unfortunate, because I think that this affects black men, and I feel like I've seen this a few times, especially with continental Africans who are coming over who claim to be Christian. I think that for not all, like I know that in Ethiopia there's a very strong Orthodox Christian community, but I think in a lot of other countries the Christianity is like a very new type of religion, a new dominant religion in those spaces. And so people are coming over trying to play into Christianity in relation to society. Because like if you live in America, you can be a Christian, but you're still a Christian in the dominant society, right? Where everyone is not Christian. So how would you make sense of that? Especially if you're in the black community, because there's so much degradation. Like there's so many character flaws. Like there's so many problems. If you were to actually try in some way to walk through the world as a real, I don't know. I don't want to keep going back to Christianity, because I do think that there's other, righteous religions. I think that there are good Muslims. I think that there are good Buddhists. I think there are good, Mormons. Like across the board, there are religious people who are of the book, who are by the faith, who understand the 10 Commandments. But I also believe that there are atheists and agnostics and non-religious people who to whom the same is true. So I think the bigger point here is like you are who you are. So like it's really strange in the black community to watch, and as a community, because now we're seeing women and men do this, targeting marginalized individual. These are probably other black women that they're referring to, and they're doing this othering thing where they're like, ha ha ha, look at this thing happening to her over there, ha 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 ha, that doesn't happen to me, ha 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 ha, I have standards, ha 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 ha, I have a father, ha 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 ha. And then you like, there's no person with a conscience who could watch someone do that and then be like, that is okay. That's called bullying. Obviously, if you know what a bully is, bullying isn't like funny. But then there's a certain amount of like patheticness to it, because if you actually watch what's happening, you're talking about groups of men who on average are going to be like taller and stronger and bigger and have more resources, punching down. So that's almost like taking candy from a baby. And that's not funny, right? Like, if you are bigger and stronger and wiser and have more, why would you pretend that you left your wallet at home for when you are going on a date with a woman? Like, why would you do that? probably because you're a faggot. Like, that's why. Like, you don't like women. Like, you don't like any women. You're just like pretending and playing little games. Like, that's what these like homosexual men do, and it's really unfortunate. That's what the black men are doing, and I think they were playing so many games that now they like played themselves out of the gene pool, and I guess the gig's up. It's not really funny anymore, right? Because like that's the whole thing. Like I've heard and now maybe I'll actually go dig and like find some of the videos that have done this, but it's a bunch of women who are non-black who basically have seen this type of behavior, like these little jokes and these little like funny things that like black men are playing on. We'll call them low self-esteem black women, right? And them being like, this is disgusting. Like, this behavior toward women is not tolerable for me. Therefore, I can't date you, black man, because this behavior is not tolerable. If you treat another woman like that, you would treat me like that. That is rational. And these women don't understand that, because they distance themselves from the woman who was victimized and then put themselves closer to the men who were the predators, and they don't see the problem with that. I'm just saying, like, this, when I'm saying be critical of the black community, especially the black women, like the old black women have created so many like little games and hurdles and ways of trying to maybe like really tolerate the disrespect, live with the awfulness of being under and around these pieces of shit men. And I think that like some other people have been watching for a while, and you know, it wasn't about them, so it was kind of like but now I think that there's a lot of younger women, especially younger black women, who have also been watching and have instead decided, well, I don't want to participate in that. I don't want that to be a part of my future. There's no need. I can pick better, or I can pick nothing. Nothing is better than that. And that's real. Nothing is better than that. Nothing is better than that. Those men have proven to you they are nothing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. It's almost like, how can you say it? Like, I think the Tyler Perry of it all, like, of all the things that you could do in society, you are actively choosing to dress up as a woman and, like, mock fat black women. Like, that is how you're choosing to spend your free time. Like, you tell me something is not wrong with that. Like, that nigga has free will, and that's still what he chooses to do. That's not a pathology on anybody else besides. That is an individual problem with that man. And it's kind of fucked up because it actually isn't just him. There's tons of men like him. And in other ways, they are problematic. And it isn't a community who's backing them up. I feel like in so many ways, there are women who are like trying to get away from them. Like, don't you think that, like, I just keep using that example because that's the one that comes up, but the woman who goes on a date with a guy and then he pretends that he leaves his wallet at home. So the guy was trying to get a free date from a woman? That sounds like homosexual behavior, right? Doesn't it? That's what that is. I mean, it isn't necessarily playing on the woman's low self-esteem. I guess she didn't have enough conversations with the man before the date to understand, like, if he was planning to pay or who was planning to pay or what the expectation when the check came was going to be. Or I don't know what sort of conversations happened. I do know, though, that that's probably a fair warning for all women to kind of, if you do decide to go on a date with any man, you need to have some upfront conversations about, like, who's gonna pay, that you are not gonna pay, that, if he cannot pay, then maybe you guys should just not go or do something free if you're open to that. Like, it I think that the part of the problem is that, like, these two women, instead of like addressing the core issue, have decided to like maneuver their way around that instance being real and that bad behavior being normalized. And now they've just rationalized and said, okay, well, this is how it is. And for them, I guess it is, because they are still clearly in community with men who do that type of shit. And I don't know. There's nothing for me or for you to like learn from that, because like I don't think we're in community with men who do shit like that. Right? Like that's weird. Because I mean, if you're just talking about, I'm not even going to talk about like if I believe 50-50 is good or not, but I'm just saying in a very real way, like if you are just a person of like some sort of dignity, wouldn't you just like have some conversation before the date and be like, yeah, so we need to like split the payment for the date 50-50. If you're a man, right, just because like society kind of expects you to pay, why wouldn't you just communicate with the woman and be like, okay, yeah, I'm not paying for you, so that she knows, so that she can either cover it, or she's, you know what I mean, like whatever the situation is. I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong. There are definitely women out here who will go on 50-50 dates. I'm just saying, like, if you were just like a stand-up guy, wouldn't you just be like, I'm not going to pay for you? Like, that's, maybe it's harsh, but also that's a very real conversation. Like, I feel like I've known guys who've said that not to me, but like they've said that to other women. So I really don't know. I think like all it is just more and more proof and confirmation that like the women who are in community with these men now, they have not like elevated their expectations of the men. Like, they have just like accepted their bad behavior and then decided to like proceed with the bad behavior, I guess. Because like, also, here's the thing that I would like everyone to just remember, like, there are many women in society, because like these are black women that we're talking about, so that's still only 6% of the population, and that population is down bad anyway. So like, I mean, but for the 94% of everybody else, there's a pretty significant amount of men in the other part of the society who have like normalized healthy relationships. And so you don't need to have a conversation identifying how certain men's really bad behavior towards some women is demonizing the women. I will also say though that there are definitely some women who need to work on their self-esteem. That I agree with. Some women need to work on their self-esteem. Absolutely. Those women should do that. I hope that they take the time and get the therapy and unpack some, culture and society examples, maybe like this one, so that they kind of understand and see both sides. Oh man, like, I think it's the problem of the mothers, honestly. I think it's the black mothers who have created these demons out in the world. And here's one thing I was trying to unpack too. I guess the more conversations I've been having about like my fears around black men, and the more I say that out loud, the more confirmation I'm getting from other women who are non-black that they have a certain amount of fear as well. So at this point, like, I'm not really sure. Like, imagine you being so awful that you've, like, targeted, degraded, alienated, and violated the women in your own community. You've done it so visibly that the women in other communities see it, and now there's a growing group of women in your own community and all of the other communities who have, like, identified your toxicness, and now they've all band together to stay away from you. Damn, I guess it would just suck to be a black man. Like,